Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We exist at three levels. One is the gross level, wherein matter matters maximum in our life. How are the things around us? How much property I have got? How much name and fame I have in the society? What are my achievements? What are the pending desires which I have not yet fulfilled? This falls in the purview of matter, technically called as Adhibhautik Kshetra, the world which is matter-oriented. Then the second level at which we live is the level of experiences. More than what you have, what is important is, with whatever you have, how are you? See, there are people who have nothing, yet they are happy or miserable. There are people who have got everything and yet they are happy or miserable. So only matter is not life, but also the experiences that we gather because of our interaction with the matter, that matters most in our life. See, if you have got a sweet meat shop, so you have got free access to the sweets, but you are suffering from diabetes, what is the use of that? Therefore, only material prosperity cannot give you the real joy of life. This is the second level. Then the third level. Who is enjoying or suffering in this world? In short, life is a matrix of three factors. The world that is experienced, the experience of the world, and the experiencer, three of them. Now, the question is, where do we focus our attention to? This is a choice given to us. Most of us focus attention only on the experienced world. I should have a nice house, I should have a beautiful car, I should have a lovely wife, I should have half a dozen children, they should be all good. See? This is all an average person can think of. And then for that you must have good body, so then do yoga, see, so that you are healthy. So this type of people, they limit themselves only up to this. They cannot go beyond it. Then the second type of people, they start evaluating the quality of their life. Are they dependent on the things or they are independent of the things? When we are dependent on anything in this world, we are miserable. See, Mahabharatkar says, Sarvam paravasham dukkham, sarvam atmavasham sukham, etad vidyat samasena lakshanam sukha dukkhayo. All dependence is misery and all independence is joy, happiness. So, when this point comes in our mind, then we come to know how much we are dependent on the things and beings around us. And then one wants to get freedom from this. So now the focus of attention has changed from the material prosperity to the quality of life that we are leading. See? So this person is now evolved. So he is interested now in fulfilling the desire so that he can be happy. So what we are doing in our whole life till date is only one project. Try to fulfill the desires of our life. When we were children, we were collecting the small toys so that we will be happy. Then we are grown up, teenagers. Then the type of children or the toys change. Then we want the contemporaries of our age. Boys are running after girls, girls are running after boys. Then that also changes. Then we become middle-aged, wife, children and all that. Then our desire is that let my children grow in a wise way. They should be educated. See? So, whole life, if we have to write an autobiography of our life, we can write only in one line. We have been unsuccessfully trying to fulfill the desires of our life, and yet desires stand unfulfilled. See, friends, just look within. And one day, by God's grace, it clicks. Hey, I have lived so many years. Have I discovered fulfillment in life? See? And when we have tried everything outside, see, then we went to the holy places. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam Vrata Paripalanam Athava Danam. We went to the holy places, took a deep into Ganges and did some kind of charity work, yet there is no fulfillment in life. Then we go to Kaivalyadham, start learning yoga. And there also we feel like something more has to be done. And then we want to do meditation. See? And when we want to do meditation, we have nothing but complaints. Swamiji, whenever I sit for meditation, there are terribly dirty, terrible thoughts. Otherwise, my mind is beautiful. But whenever I sit for meditation, terrible thoughts come. What should I do? Don't do meditation. Relax. Friends, anything what we do ends. Be very attentive. Spiritual life is not doing anything. It is undoing all what we have been doing our whole life. It is not becoming someone. It is unbecoming. See, this is the basic error on the spiritual path. We are already carrying a huge burden of so many specialities on ourselves. That I am man, I am woman, I am old, I am young, I am educated, I am overeducated, I am smart, I am not smart, I am beautiful, I am awful. One more feather, I am spiritual, one more burden. Friends, spiritual life is unbecoming and undoing. See, friends. And in the spiritual practices, one of the most popular, common and misunderstood practice is meditation. It has become a fashion. So let us try to undo meditation. When you will learn the art of undoing, you will merge in the absolute. See, friends. Now let us understand one basic principle of spiritual life. Spiritual life is learning from our own experiences. This is the fundamental of spiritual life. A person who cannot learn from his own experiences, even God cannot teach him or her. We have to learn from our own experiences. Now the question comes, where from we begin? See? So, without any knowledge, because everybody is doing, we also go and join meditation, crash course in meditation. See? Crash course. In that course, you are crushed. Meditation. See, friends, so instead of that, let us try to learn from our own experiences. That we have been looking outside for what? Whatever we do or we don't do, the purpose is only one, to gain happiness. A person gets married to gain happiness. Another person gets separation to gain happiness. One person eats a lot to gain happiness. The other one is observing fast to gain happiness. One person wakes up early in the morning to gain happiness. The other one keeps sleeping up to 10 o'clock, gain happiness. In short, all our efforts in life are directed towards one principle, and that to gain happiness. Alas, we have never looked within. Did we succeed in our life? The same thing mechanically we are doing in our life. See, because we are not analyzing and learning from our experiences of life. Now, one example I'll give you, how we learn from our experiences. I get up in the morning pretty early, and the first thing I want is a cup of tea. So, the mind starts the japa sadhana, tea, 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 tea. Till I get a cup of tea, my mind is agitated. And then I get a cup of tea somehow or the other. The moment I get a cup of tea, aha, maja aa gaya. Conclusion, happiness has come from tea. See, analyze our experience. If the happiness is coming from tea, everybody in this world should feel happy after taking a cup of tea, but this does not happen. But then we cannot deny our experience that I really enjoyed the cup of tea in the morning. Now analyze. Before I got no tea, I was disturbed. After I got the tea I wanted, I was happy. Meaning what? There was no disturbance in the mind. So, disturbed mind is misery, undisturbed mind is happiness. How simple it is. So what should be our approach now to life? See, approach to life should be very simple. When we interact with the world, where is our attention? Our attention is to gain happiness out of action, out of speech, out of thoughts. Instead of that, change the attitude. Don't do anything in life to get happiness. Whatever we are supposed to do it happily. Everything will change in life. Similarly, don't talk so that you will get appreciation and then you will become happy. No, talk happily. See, you must have seen many times there are some people, God's creation, they don't talk, they bark. Why you have come? Why are you standing? Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. Talk cheerfully, happily. You have done everything. Similarly, thinking happily. When you think happily, you cannot be destructive. See, friends, nobody can go and tell his friend, hey, I am so happy today, I just want to kill you. Not possible. Because happiness is not a destructive force. Therefore, first step on the spiritual path is, whatever you do, whatever you talk, whatever you think, let that be a channel of expression of your inherent happiness. Don't do anything to oblige the world. No, it must become a channel through which happiness alone is expressing. See, friend, when you do anything happily, you don't get tired. When you do anything happily, you don't expect anybody to say something. Like, I am talking to you happily. If you suffer, it is your problem, but I am happy. See, friends. Therefore, when we talk about the spiritual life, this is the first step. Let everything be an expression of happiness. Number one. Then the second step comes. If happiness is undisturbed mind, then what should be done? We have to keep the mind undisturbed. And for that, again, analyze your experiences. Normally, the people, what they do meditation, in the morning, they suffer silently in the meditation for half an hour, in a darkness collectively. See? You must have seen many places, they have the meditation classes, the whole hall is packed, and then switch off the lights. And then they do meditation. In one place, I didn't know that. One person asked me this question. Swamiji, we went to such and such place, they switch off the light and then they start meditation. What is the reason? I said, you ask them, I don't know, I don't switch off the lights. Meditation is not something bad, you should be doing it in darkness. You should be then in open. What is wrong in that? But why they do it? I said, I don't know, but I can imagine always. When there is darkness, the students also can go to sleep and the teacher also can go to sleep. And when meditation is over, everybody is awakened from the sleep. See, friends, do not get these externalities overbound. So, when we sit for meditation, we are disturbed. First thing. Now, instead of complaining about it, start analyzing. For us, half an hour meditation, rest of the day frustration. Instead of that, analyze. Do we do waking, or we are in the waking and then do the things? Do we do dreaming, or we are in the dream and then do funny things? Do we do deep sleep, or we are in the deep sleep and then start snoring? Think. When you are awake, try to snore. You cannot. You have to be in the deep sleep, then only snoring is possible. In short, waking is not done. Dreaming is not done. Deep sleep is not done. How come you do meditation? Then we have to be in meditation and then conduct ourselves in this world. See, friends, be attentive. Our waking experiences are limited only to the waking. Our dream experiences are limited only to the dream. Our deep sleep experiences are limited only to the deep sleep. But the experience of meditation can go in and through all these waking, dream and deep sleep, and yet is beyond them. And thus, a real spiritual practice is living in meditation 24/7. See, friends, that is spiritual practice. So how do we live in meditation 24/7? So let us go further. See, what is most important in life? Whether the wisdom should be steady or the posture should be steady. See, Patanjali Maharshi writes about asana. According to Patanjali, asana is sthira sukham asanam. Sukha is bliss. Sthira is steady. Remaining steadily happy is called as asana. See, sthira sukham asanam. The sthira is an adjective to the sukham, not to the asanam. So when we practice this, we have to remain ever cheerful and happy under all conditions. We are practicing Patanjali's asana. See, now further. Question is, how can we be steadily happy? Bhagavan Patanjali tells techniques, two techniques. Technique number one, prayatna shaithilya. Technique number two, ananta samapatti. Now what is the meaning of prayatna shaithilya? Prayatna shaithilya means wherever there are efforts, we are tired. Wherever there are efforts, somebody is born. And wherever there are efforts, we want to give up. Three things. Now take an example to understand this point. How efforts make us somebody who is miserable. Imagine I am Subedar Major and I am teaching the new entrants in the military the parade. And one of the person did mistake. So I, as an officer, will punish him. What will be the punishment? Military punishment. 20 kilo backpack, heavy shoes, rifle up, and 100 rounds of the parade ground punishment. Suppose I am a Sanskrit teacher and I had to punish the student. What will be punishment? Write down Bhagavad Gita whole in Sanskrit 2100 times. Oh God, 2100 punishment. Suppose I am a yoga teacher and somebody has done a mistake. Then I give punishment. Do Anulom Vilom 2100 times. Anulom Vilom 2100 times. My nose will separate from the face, sir. I can't do it. Then, okay. Do it 1500 times. No, it's not possible. Okay. Do it 100 times. No, sir. Do it 25 times. Okay, I'll try. And he starts Anulom Vilom. After doing it for 10 times, I tell the student, stop. Oh, thank you, sir. Now my question is, why you are getting tired when you do pranayam 2100 times? Because I am doing. How many times we breathe per day? 200 and 1600 times a day. Has anybody ever said, hey, come on, yaar, I am breathing since morning. I am damn tired. I don't want to breathe. Because in breathing, it happens. It is not done. Pranayam is done. Therefore, prayatna shaithilya. Wherever there are efforts, somebody is born. And that body is miserable. Now, is it not our life? Our whole life is struggle. I want this, I want that. I want this, I want that. See, friends, again, go further in analyzing your experiences as spiritual practice. I am not giving any mala in your hand and sending you to a temple. Only analyze and learn from your own experiences. See, Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. Bhagavad Gita says, you are your friend and you are your enemy. If you learn from your experiences, you are your friend. If you don't learn, you are your enemy. See? So, when we have come to this conclusion that efforts create somebody and this somebody is miserable. Now, what this somebody is living for? His whole life is only a struggle. I want this, I want that. Now see how this is keeping us miserable in life. Again, learn from your experience. How do we go to sleep? Don't go. Or else you demonstrate like this. Don't do that. How do we go to sleep? First of all, we come back from the world at home and we leave everything outside. Our position, our name, our fame, our achievement, our problems, our health, our disease, everything is left outside. We enter in our room, close all the windows and doors, then enter below the quilt, switch off the lights, no nothing. Then only one japa continues. I want to sleep. I want to sleep. I want to sleep. Till such time, I and want is, sleep doesn't begin. And when the sleep begins, I and the want is dropped. Think. Till such time, I want to sleep. I and want is, sleep cannot begin. And such people, they suffer. I don't get sleep, what should I do? Drop this I and want. Exactly, this is the beginning of spiritual life, where I and want must be dropped. See, friends, and when I and want is dropped, you become steady in your wisdom. But what happens? We have been exposing ourselves to so many things, and as a result, we have a great confusion in our understanding. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna glorifies what is the meaning of yoga. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Maintain equanimity of your mind, that is the real yoga. And for that, buddho sharanam anvichya. Don't lead a life in a dull-witted manner. Lead your life intelligently, not intellectually. Intellectuals are intelligently miserable. Intelligent people are never miserable. See? Gatasuna gatasuscha nanu shochanti panditaha. Wise people are never miserable, otherwise people are only miserable. So, when Bhagavan glorified, live intelligently. And then he further explains, what is the meaning of living intelligently? He clarifies. Because we hear so many things, we get confused. See, friends, like many people ask this question. They go to Shivji's temple, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Then they go to Rama's temple, Ram, 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 Ram. Then they go to Krishna's temple, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, and get confused. Now, to whom to call? See, friends, confusions we create in our mind. Therefore, Bhagavan gives one second step on the spiritual path. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadha vachala buddhi tada yogam avapsasi. Arjun, unless you clear the confusions from your head, you will not be able to attain samadhi, meditation, yoga or anything. See, friends, when we use our GPS, see, God's provided spirituality. See, what is the first thing the GPS asks us? Destination. Unless we punch the destination and unless there is a point of origin, the road map cannot be established. In the same manner, when we want to sit for a meditation, what is the destination? I don't know. Then you cannot get a GPS map. We must know. See? Is it simply sitting for meditation? Meditation means simply sitting without any disturbance. Then all our buffaloes are great meditators. They don't move. See? Even if a truck comes in front of us, in front of them, the buffalo doesn't move. On the contrary, she looks at the truck. So what? Meditation better. See, friends, simply sitting cannot be the goal of meditation. Then, be very attentive. All problems begin in our life because we are carrying the burden of wants or desires. If you have many desires, you are more miserable. If you have less desires, you are less miserable. If you have no desires, you are happiest. See? Now the question is, genesis of desires. How the desires are born? Desires are born when, under two conditions, when I consider myself to be incomplete. See? Otherwise, why a young, healthy, intelligent, free boy should think of getting married? What is the reason? He has freedom, he has money, he is smart enough, he can enjoy the whole world, and yet he wants to get married because what a life without a wife. A sense of incompleteness has come. So the first cause of desire is a sense of incompleteness. Second cause of desire is a sense of otherness. Be attentive. In deep sleep experience, we do not experience sense of incompleteness. Because that time we are nobody. We are neither mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, rich, poor, man, woman, young, old, none of them. Therefore, we are not finite, we are not incomplete, and there is no sense of otherness. When these two things are absent, desire cannot be born. And when desire is not born, you are happy. See, friends, so what is the real meaning of spiritual life? Living at a zero desire level. And our whole life is only a struggle to fulfill the desires. One story I read in one book, very nice book, spiritual book. There was a devotee of God, and he was a great devotee, so God came with his helicopter to take him to Vaikuntha. So the devotee said, "Sir, I will not come alone. I want to take the whole world with me to the heavens." God smiled at him. "Come on, don't worry about the world, you come." And said, "No, I am not selfish. Everybody should go to heavens." God said, "Okay, your recommendation will be accepted without question. Bring anybody. He will be taken to heavens." So the first thing that the devotee did, he went to a sannyasi like me and said, "Sannyasi Maharaj, there is a free offer to go to heavens. Would you like to join?" Sannyasi Uvacha, sannyasi said, "Come on, not now. I am constructing an ashram. I am building a temple for the God, and the marble has to be fixed. How can I leave it halfway and go to heaven to see God when God's temple is under construction? I cannot come." So the devotee thought, "Oh God, this fellow, sannyasi, given up everything for the sake of God. When God is available, he's still holding on to this thing. Ram, Ram, Ram." He got frustrated. Went to a vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is a retired person. See? So retired people, he thought, everything is done, he will come. The vanaprastha, the retired, said, "No, now only my granddaughter got married. Let her get a grandchild and thereafter I can come." So the devotee got again miserable. Then he went to a grahastha, a married person. "Hey, Mr. Grahastha, there is a free offer to go to heavens." So the Grahastha said, are you mad or what? I am just married. I had to have half a dozen children at least, if not a cricket team. And then I can think about. So there also he was disappointed. Then he went to a student, Kaivalya student. Hey student, let's go to the heaven. He said, no, I had to learn dhoti, noti, and I had to eat the cloth. And then I will think about it, not now. See? So this devotee got so frustrated, oh God, what to do? Finally, out of disgust and frustration, he went to a pig. Mr. Pig, come, there is a offer to go to heavens. So the pig said, I'll ask Mrs. Swine and then let you know. He goes to his wife, Mrs. Pig, and asks, this is an offer, shall we go? She asked a question. Do we get the same food there to eat what we get here? Friends, who wants liberation? Our life is like the joy gained out of the itch of eczema. You know eczema itch? When somebody has a skin problem, he goes and scratching and it starts bleeding. There is no pain, there is joy in that. Friends, unless we recognize this principle, fulfillment of desires is samsara. Freedom from desires is liberation. And the desires come only for that who considers himself to be a finite. And where there is finitude, there are efforts. Where there are efforts, there is tiredness. Where there is tiredness, there is samsara. Therefore, Patanjali says, Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. So, Prayatna Shaithilya, freedom from efforts, can happen only if one merges in the infinite. See, friends. Therefore, the real spiritual life begins. Clarity of understanding. What exactly we are practicing for. See? All the time talking about the body cannot be spiritual life. See, friends. What will you do with health? Tell me. We should be healthy, agreed. What next? Have you seen any terrorist who is unhealthy? Can you imagine a terrorist coming with a gun in his hand and he says, hey, come on, hold it here, I got a back pain. No, they are healthy. Health without wisdom is a problem. See, friends, health cannot be the goal of life. See? But our whole focus is only on health. And then living long. What do we live long for? What for? Living long cannot be the goal of life. See? I'll tell you one nice WhatsApp I received from somebody. One man was following Ramdev Baba on TV. And he did everything very methodically, systematically, in a dedicated way. And he lived very long, 125 years. But after that he has to die. He died and went to the heavens because he did yoga. And when he went to heavens, he saw their most beautiful, damsels and apsaras. They call it apsara. You know, in Hindi, government officers are called as apsar. So all the apsaras were there, you know. And when this 125-year-old man went to the heavens, saw apsaras there, he was regretting, oh God, why did I come late here? I should have come earlier. Hey, friends, please understand, long life is not the goal of life. See, what will you do by living long? See, friends, fulfillment will not come. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat kruta krutyascha bharata. Unless there is a fulfillment in life, life is a wastage. And the fulfillment cannot come by fulfilling the desires. Again, learn from the experience. In our childhood, we were mad after certain things. I want this, I want that. We got it. Did we get fulfillment? No. As the age changed, our area of desires started changing. There is no end to it. And yet, we have not established an equation. Equation should be established. Fulfillment of desires is not equal to fulfillment in life. See, friends, freedom from desires is liberation. So, Bhagavan says to Arjun, Shruti vipratipannate yada sthasyati nischala. You have heard so much, and therefore you are highly confused and confounded further. Nischala, have a clarity. What is the goal of spiritual life, or what is the goal of meditation, or what is the goal of yoga abhyas? What is that? Be attentive. There are only 3 stages through which the spiritual life is lived. Stage number 1, freedom from body identification. I'll explain in detail. Stage number 2, freedom from the notion that we are a soul in a body. And third thing, there is something gained in life. These 3 things should be clearly sorted out. First thing, be very attentive. There are 3 eyes, not the EYE, but small I. There are 3 eyes. One is called as Mukhyatma, the real I, which is only one, in and through the totality. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I alone is expressing through everything and being. That is the real I. The second I is, when we get identified with the body, then an illusory I is born, and that illusory I is called a Mithyatma. First is Mukhyatma, second is Mithyatma. See? Then the third, after we are identified with the body, then we are born as husband, wife, brother, father, mother, sister, in-law, outlaw. So many secondary I's are born. Be very attentive. And thereafter, who is miserable? It is the mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife. They are miserable. Where are they? Show them. Can we show the husband apart from the man? Can we show the wife apart from the woman? Think. And that husband who cannot be established apart from the man, he is miserable. How can you make him happy? See, friends, so these non-existing entities, they are suffering in life. Therefore, friends, the real spiritual practice, the first destination, the goal is freedom from body identification. Keeping this as the goal, thereafter, if you are practicing asana, practice asana for getting freedom from body identification. If you are practicing pranayam, practice pranayam for getting freedom from body identification. And when we discover freedom from body identification, what happens is we no more live as the body, but we start living through the body. See the difference? So, when we start living as the body, we live as the body, for the body, on everybody. But when we start living through the body, the quality of our life will change. See, friends, therefore, what is important is the steadiness of wisdom and not steadiness of the body. See, we'll keep buried in this world. So, when the steadiness of wisdom was glorified by the Lord, Arjuna asked this question. If somebody is steady in his wisdom, then what is the meaning of meditation for him? Stita prajnasya samadhistasya keshava ka bhasha. What is the meaning of steadiness in wisdom? And then does he do meditation or not? If he does meditation, what is meditation for him? Bhagavan Krishna defines. Be attentive. First, living in meditation means what? First, prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. When one entertains zero desires in his mind, he is living in meditation. Be attentive. Desires are born only after we are identified with the body. Then, after that, somebody is born, mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, and these guys have the desires. Mother has the desire, my son should be very intelligent and should be first in the university or a school exam. There was one lady, she came to meet me in Bombay. And she said, Swamiji, people are very bad. I said, look here, I have not created anybody, don't complain. I am not a complaint box. Then she said, look, my neighbor, she came in the morning and gave me sweets. I said, what is wrong in that? Do you know why? Because her son became first in the merit list. So she gave. I said, if it happens with me, I will also do the same thing. To the neighbors, we distribute sweets if my child is first in the merit list. No, you don't understand. Therefore you are Swami. I said, okay, then you tell me. She said, she did not give me because her son came first. Because my son failed 4 times. Just to tease me and to torture me, she came and gave me the sweets. What this Mahamaya thought, even God cannot think. I kept quiet. Then she asked a question. Swamiji, why other people's children come in the merit list and why my son is failing 4 times? Question. So I told her, Mama, can you imagine tomatoes to hang to a chili plant? What you talk, I don't understand. Thank God you are not understood, or you will make a chutney out of me. Who is miserable? This mother. See, friends, this simple point you recognize. We are always miserable as somebody. And the somebody is none other than a mule carrying the burden of desires. More the desires, more miserable we are. Lesser the desires, less miserable we are. No desires, no misery. You all must have experienced when you have to catch the morning flight, international flight, you have to go to the airport 3 hours before. And therefore you calculate. And then you decide, okay, evening I'll take food at 7 o'clock, go to sleep, wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock, finish bath, become fresh, change clothes, and go to the airport. Planning is done. 7 o'clock you finish your dinner, go to sleep. From 7:30 to 2 o'clock, you look into the watch for 298 times. Again go to sleep. Again see and go to sleep. Reason? One desire destroys your whole night. We have Himalayan desires. Destroys our whole life. Friends, fulfillment of desires has not made anybody happy. Desires cannot be fulfilled. See? Therefore, the meaning of meditation for the man of steady wisdom is prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. When a seeker discards all the possible desires from his mind, he is living in meditation. In one of my lectures in a college, when I made this point, one student asked this question. It is because of these thoughts that our country is not progressing. This is what Gita has wrongly taught us. I said, my dear friend, let us think, analyze. Don't come to a wrong conclusion. Then I asked him, we all are living to fulfill our desires. Have we really achieved fulfillment? Life? No. Now take the lives of the great masters. They have lived and they have discovered fulfillment in their life and they had no desires. Be very attentive. Fulfillment does not come when you fulfill your desires. Fulfillment comes when you function under the umbrella of inspired performance. Then no fulfillment comes. Therefore, meditation is not living for fulfilling the desires. Meditation is living 24/7 in an inspired mode. Then you are in meditation. And a person who is in meditation, he is always having these three qualities. Number one, he is cool, not excited. He is alert and he is vigilant. These three qualities of the mind, when they are maintained effortlessly, a person is living in meditation. And this quality of meditation goes in and through waking, dream and deep sleep. Such a person will have always good sleep, no dreams, and always at peace. Friends, this is not theoretical. This is possible. See, friends, therefore the real spiritual life is working on our mind. See, we all take care of our house. What should be the color pattern, what should be the furniture, what should be the drapery, what should be the wall hangings, how much time and money we spend on that. We take care also of our clothing. It should be matching, it should not be non-matching, it should be the latest fashion, I should not be outdated. Very good. Then we take care of our food. There should be organic food, as if there is inorganic food. Food is always organic. No, we should take organic food. Okay, take organic food. And then we should not eat this, we should not eat that. Sattvic food should we eat. You should not take spices, you should eat sattvic food. How much care we take? Then we take care about the figure. Our figure should be absolutely perfect, 36, 24, 36. But our figure is 62, 62, 62, like a drum. How much care we take of everything in this world, be attentive. But have we ever taken care of the quality of our mind? Think. Because there are thoughts in the mind. We think we are thinkers. No. There are trees in the forest. There are trees in the garden. The difference is, when we go to the forest, we are afraid. We want to retire quickly away from the forest. In a garden we go, we enjoy. Our mind is a forest or a garden. We are afraid of ourselves. Therefore, we want to run away from ourselves. And as a result, we want to get involved in so many activities so that we don't have to face our own mind. Friends, spiritual practice, whatever path you follow, karma, yoga, bhakti or jnanam, whatever path you follow, in all the paths, the purpose is to work on the mind. We are working by the mind. We are not working on the mind. See, understand this working by the mind and on the mind. See, friends, first let us understand working by the body and working on the body. When we do a job, when we run our business, we are working by the body. We go for work, we do our job, we earn money so that our bread and butter is taken care of. This is working by the body. Then working on the body, we do yogasana, we do pranayam, we do weightlifting, we go for running to reach nowhere. See? So this is working by the body and working on the body. Now the same way, be attentive. Have we ever even thought once in our whole life that we have to work on our mind? We are only working by the mind. And what is working by the mind? Commentary on everything. Being Indians, Indians have got a special quality, number of qualities. Number one quality, every Indian is a born doctor. Anything happens to anybody, see, I am a victim of that. Because there is a throat, there will be sometimes some problem. So when I go to somebody's house, I have to stay. So, suppose the throat is bad, they will immediately become a Ayurveda Acharya. Hamidi, take little milk and I'll boil with turmeric in that and then we'll make it very nicely boiled and then you take it. Thereafter, neither your throat will remain nor any problem. By birth, they are doctors. Second thing, every Indian is expert in somebody else's business, not their own. Every Indian can suggest to anything to anybody, including God, what God should have done. See, friends, this is working by the mind. We have commentaries, we have opinions about everything. Once, many years before, this happened in Bangalore. There was a huge gathering, about few thousand people, youngsters particularly, and then there was one panel of 3 persons, question answers. And there was one social worker, one was a professor of a college, and I was one Babaji, three brands. So questions were coming and these people were answering and I was enjoying samosa and tea. That was my main purpose. And one question came, then they say, now we will request Swamiji to answer because he is not replying anything. I said, okay. The question was, what is your opinion about Ram Janmabhoomi? I said, look here, you have been now listening for last 1 hour, all things very seriously, and I know nothing, therefore I'll tell you a story. So you relax. Then I told a story. I said, look here, why the people drive car in India on the left side and in America on the right side, I have no opinion. Why the ladies cut their hair and make a bob hair, I have no opinion. Why old people talk about their past and don't live in the present, I have no opinion. In short, it is not necessary to hold opinion on everything in this world. Clear? Yes. In the same manner, I have no opinion on Ram Janmabhoomi. Relax. Friends, be attentive. Before we do anything, during the execution of the job, after the job is done, the quality of our mind must remain uncontaminated by anything that it comes in contact. See, samatvam yoga uchyate. Then we are working on the mind. See? Now to work on the mind, there are two techniques. That is what is called as spiritual life. And these techniques are very simple. And we'll do it right now. Not afterwards. Ready, everybody? As you don't change your posture, you are perfectly all right. See? What is important is you are relaxed. Don't be tense. And I guarantee you are not going to get anything. Okay? Now, next. Next 60 seconds, do not talk to yourself. Stop, experiment over. Now let us analyze this experiment. Did I tell you, don't talk among yourself? I didn't tell you. I simply told you, don't talk to yourself. You could have as well talked to each other, but you didn't. Because when you stop talking to yourself, you never talk to others. And we say, chitta vritti nirodha, be very attentive. It's a very subtle topic. As a person comes out of the house after putting proper clothes. Nobody comes out of the house without clothes. Exactly the same way. No thought is born without words. Every thought is putting on the costume of words. There are no naked thoughts. Instead of struggling, chitta vritti nirodha, instead of that, try this. Stop talking to yourself. What is the anatomy of thought? Mind plus any value which is given to anything creates an abnormality that is called as a thought. And that thought puts on the cloth of a word and then it is manifested. See, friends, try to think without a word. You cannot. So instead of struggling, chitta vritti nirodha, Swami, too many thoughts come in my mind. No thought comes in your mind. You only keep on talking to yourself. Stop talking. Be very attentive. Every thought, every word is born to somebody. Now, second experiment. Try this. We'll play meditation. Not do. We'll play meditation. As you are sitting, perfectly all right. Now you become husband or wife. Like the small children, they play husband and wife. In the same manner, you become husband and wife and see what thoughts come in your mind. Stop. Second experiment. You become parents or children. And see what thoughts come. And third, now remain as Mr. Nobody. And see if thoughts do come. Experiments over. Now analyze. When we became husband or wife, the thoughts were pertaining to wife and husband respectively. When we became parents or children, the thoughts were pertaining to children or parents respectively. When we remained as nobody, no thought came. So if we want to attain Chitta Vritti Nirodha, what should be the approach? Remain as Mr. Nobody. When you remain as Mr. Nobody, you are not born as a meditator. Then meditation will happen without a meditator being born. See, friends, and this permeates in and through waking, dream and deep sleep. Like a man permeates through the son that he is, the husband that he is, the father that he is. One man with the conditioning of his father, he is called as son. The same man with the conditioning of his wife, he is called as husband. The same man with the conditioning of his son, he is called as father. Has he become three? So living as a son, living as a husband, living as a father is living as somebody. And these somebodies cannot avoid thinking. But the man is common denominator. To live as a man is living in meditation. To live as a husband and try to do meditation is a torture. How simple it is. Unless these basics are clear, meditation becomes a punishment. And then, I don't know, I'm getting too much of a headache after meditation. It cannot be. Because you are going the wrong way. It is not the way. See, friends, therefore, spiritual life is not becoming someone, but remaining as no one. Man becomes the son. man becomes the husband, man becomes the father. The husband can never become the man because he is already a man. He doesn't have to become. We don't have to become divine. We are already divine. The divinity is covered like the man is covered by the sun. The man is covered by the husband. The man is covered by the father. The moment this man discovers these are only imaginary coverings, they are not real. Thereafter, he will live as a husband and yet he will be happy. Therefore, what is God realization for the husband? A happy husband is God realization. Think, friends, living in this light is called as spiritual life. See, friends, it is possible for everyone. Therefore, next time when you sit for meditation, keep these points. What is the destination that we have to reach? Number one, freedom from body identification. So keep your body in a particular posture, sukhasana, and three things must be associated with a perfect asana. At the base, firm, vertically steady, and totally relaxed. Relaxed to such an extent that you get out of your body. And watch the body. Like I am watching you, when I am able to watch myself, then I get out of the body identification. And when I am out of body identification, thereafter I am neither a husband, wife, brother, father, mother. Everything relaxes. Then the thinking process changes. Last life, this life, next life. Prarabdha karma, sanchit karma, karmashaya. The purpose is different. The purpose is we exist independent of the body. We are not because of the body is because of me. When this body was not there, in the other body I had done something good or bad. Therefore I suffer in this body. When this body is dropped, I get another body. Therefore I exist independent of the body. This is my essential nature. Who is this? To discover this is the purpose of spiritual life. If this is not discovered, you may do anything. Agre vanni prushte bhano ratro chubuko samarpita jano or jatilo mundi lunchita kesha kashayambar bahukrita vesha or angam galitam pulitam mundam dashan vihinam jatam tundam. All this is a total wastage. See, friends, the last thought for the day, spiritual life is not a part-time profession. It is a full-time preoccupation. Our spiritual life is like a lady went to a doctor and she said, Doctor Saab, my weight is too much. I want to reduce my weight. Kindly give me a proper diet. So the doctor prescribed a diet. Report after 2 months. After 2 months she went to the doctor, double the size. So the doctor said, come on, what did you do? It cannot happen. Tell me, what did you do? Doctor Saab, I was taking your diet after my regular diet. Exactly the same way. Our spirituality is, outside we are suffering and in meditation also we are suffering. Whenever you suffer, you are going the wrong way. If you get disturbed, you are the wrong way. Therefore, never do meditation. Live in meditation 24/7 and see the joy of life. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।